More news coming in. Terrorists have shot dead a Kashmiri Pandit at Shopian. Telling our viewers more about that big story where Kashmiri Pandits continue to be targeted in the valley. And this time around, once again, the attack is in Shopian, is what we are learning. Ashraf Wani will be joining us for more details. But remember, these are targeted attacks, not just on Kashmiri Pandits, but on Hindus, the minorities living in Jammu and Kashmir. Terrorists have killed, is what we know. There are targeted killings continuing in the valley, and from the information that we have, it does appear that the Kashmiri Pandit who was attacked by terrorists in Shopian has now succumbed, is what we are learning. Ashraf, we spoke to you a few moments ago where you spoke about the attack on the Kashmiri Pandit. We have a confirmation that the Pandit has now succumbed to the injuries?
Yes, absolutely, Saniha. Unfortunately, this Kashmiri Pandit, namely Puran Krishan Bhat of Taraknath, son of Taraknath Bhat of Gund, Shopian, succumbed to his injuries. He was shot just half an hour back in his village, where he got seriously injured, then was shifted to nearby hospital, where doctors declared him brought dead in this terror attack. Now, as I said, area has been cordoned off by the police and army to nab those terrorists who were responsible for the killing of this minority community member, a Kashmiri Pandit, here in the Shopian district of South Kashmir. This is not, as I said, this is not the first attack on the minorities in the Kashmir Valley. In fact, it is the fourth attack in Shopian district only during last 6 months, and second attack during the last 2 months in the Shopian district. Despite all the claims by the security agencies as well as by the government that elaborate security has been arranged for all the minority members across the Kashmir Valley, despite once again this soft target by the terrorists in Shopian district of South Kashmir. Now we are seeing that the situation is very tense. Some of the relatives and some of the minority members who are residing in the Kashmir are protesting in the area against this brutal killing, in fact joined by the local population, because despite all the claims by the government and the security agencies, they are not able to save these precious lives of the civilians here in the South Kashmir, particularly of the minority community. Saniha.
All right, Ashraf Wani, thanking you for the moment. Ashraf is getting us an unfortunate news this afternoon of yet another Kashmiri Pandit being killed in the valley. Ashraf, in fact, I'm being told, let's talk about this in greater detail. Kashmiri Pandits, I was asking you earlier as well, Ashraf, and let's talk a little more about that, are actually very upset, isn't it, with the administration, and they've also been out on the street saying that you have to do more to protect us. This isn't good enough.
Absolutely, Saniha. Basically, we have seen for last 6 months all those Kashmiri employees who are the government employees and serving in the Kashmir Valley were agitating first in the Kashmir Valley, then they were allowed to move away from the valley and proceed for Jammu. And also in the Jammu for last 6 months, they are protesting and requesting the government to shift them to safer places in the Jammu, because Kashmir is not safe the minorities. Today, this claim has proven true, because once again when government was saying that there is not any kind of threat to the minorities and the non-locals, despite those all claims, once again one innocent civilian has been killed in the Shopian district of South Kashmir. Now government has to come up with that where was the breach of security, because as I said, all those villages have the minority security pockets in the Kashmir Valley, where some of the individuals of the minority community, particularly Kashmiri Pandits, are residing. How this attack took place, where was the breach of security, that is the big question which the government and the authorities have to answer. Because it is not the first such killing in the Kashmir Valley. There was a series of killings, particularly where the minorities and the non-locals were targeted. It started since April and it continued for many weeks at that time. Then massive operations were launched against the terror groups and the militants and the modules responsible for those killings. But today, when everything was being projected as calm across the Kashmir Valley on the security front, once again a minority community member has been targeted in the Shopian, and unfortunately he lost his life.
Any word Ashraf, to reach out to Kashmiri Pandits or to talk about what really has happened here. Also, do touch upon whether the investigations have reflected anything just yet exactly as to who is behind this.
Saniha, it is very unfortunate and such a story where there are always being tall claims made by the government, because we have seen that how the process of bringing back the Kashmiri Pandits to the Kashmir Valley has derailed. This initiative started in 2004, then it was started by the UPA government, then a pace was brought by the NDA government and the current government led by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He himself assured the Kashmiri Pandit community during 2014 elections that they will be returned back. But big question is, when Article 370 was abrogated, the biggest claim that was made by the government of India was that it will make a way forward for all those displaced Kashmiri Pandits who had left Kashmir in terrorism in 1990, and they will be returning back to home. But so far, so many years, 3 decades passed, not a single Kashmiri family has returned back to the Kashmir Valley. In fact, all those who, all those risks, were living despite all those terrorism acts in the Kashmir Valley, were residing in the Kashmir Valley. Now they even are they are feeling very unsafe, and that we have seen during the month of April and May, that many much families who were residing in the Kashmir Valley since 90s have seen all the ups and downs of the Kashmir Valley, are now compelled to leave the Kashmir Valley. And today this individual who was the resident of a Shopian district of a small village, he, despite all the ups and downs in the Kashmir Valley, didn't left the valley. But today what he has faced, he has just given his life for staying in the Kashmir Valley. And that is a big question the government and the authorities have to answer, that if so many things were told during the last many months, that all the security, all the minorities had been assured a soundproof security across the Kashmir Valley, how this specifically a member from a minority community, a Kashmiri Pandit, has been targeted once again, that also in the district of Shopian. Where is the breach of security? That is the big question. Probably the authorities, the government will come up with the statement soon, because as I have said, that there is very much anger not only in the Kashmiri Pandit, pocket full of Kashmiri Pandit community which is residing in the Kashmir Valley, but also the neighbors of this individual who was living in a remote village of Shopian district in South Kashmir.
Alright, Ashraf, I'm going to come back to you for more on that story, but this is Shopian, where yet another Kashmiri Pandit has been targeted. Unfortunately, has succumbed to the injuries, is what Ashraf is telling us.